Welcome to the Critique. Today, we're diving into From Chaos to Clarity, Lessons from Valorant and Obsidian.
Hmm.
It's all about finding personal growth through these small, iterative fixes, drawing insights from Obsidian note-taking, and, fascinatingly, the game Valorant.
Yeah,
It's a really compelling personal story, I thought, and just a very unique pairing of examples.
absolutely. It's such an interesting parallel, isn't it, between these two, seemingly really different worlds.
Right.
And I think that unique angle is exactly what we should maybe try to amplify right from the very beginning.
Okay, so that leads us right into the first bit of feedback. We're thinking about how to enhance that immediate hook, really make it grab a broader audience straight away.
Exactly.
What's the thinking there?
Well, look, the core idea, this growth from small fixes using Valorant, using Obsidian, that's gold. It really is.
Yeah.
But the way it opens now, when life shut down, and then the section on luck now, it's powerful, very personal.
Mm-hmm.
But it might feel a bit specific right at the start. For a reader who maybe hasn't gone through that exact same thing, it could sort of delay the connection to the big takeaway, the universal stuff from Valorant and Obsidian.
I see what you mean. You want to hook everyone quickly, not just the people who immediately connect with that specific personal crisis.
Precisely.
So how do we bring that surprising mix, the gaming and the notes app, how do we bring that forward so it immediately signals, hey, this is different, this is valuable?
Yeah, that's the question. I think it's about reframing those first few moments. Just grab their attention instantly instead of that build-up.
Just hit them with it?
Hit them with it, yeah. One idea? Maybe start with a really provocative question. Something that makes them think, huh?
Okay, like what?
Like, what can the precise, high-stakes tactical combat of Valorant and the fluid, interconnected knowledge management of Obsidian actually teach us about navigating life's biggest collapses? Something like that.
Ooh, I like that. That definitely pulls you in, doesn't it? Sets up the puzzle right away, the mystery and the potential solution.
Exactly. Or you could go even more sort of visceral.
How so?
Start with a tiny story, a micro story maybe, that shows a small fix from one of those worlds, Valorant or Obsidian, and immediately links it to a bigger life lesson.
Okay.
And then you can loop back to the personal journey. Imagine opening with something like, in the heat of a Valorant round, adjusting a single angle saved the match. And Obsidian, a single tag brought clarity to chaos.
Mm-hmm.
These micro lessons became my lifeline when the world and my own mind shut down. See?
Yeah, wow. That connects the specific example to the universal point and sets up the personal context, but it feels like the lessons came first almost.
It integrates it differently, right? Or even simpler, you could just tweak the very first line. Make it directly state the core tension and the unexpected solution.
Give me an example.
Something straightforward but impactful, like, when my carefully built life structures crumbled, it wasn't grand strategies that saved me, but the small, iterative fixes I learned from a tactical video game and a digital notebook.
Got it. Straight to the point, highlighting the unique elements.
Exactly. The main goal is just signaling that unexpected wisdom right away, making it clear why this piece is different.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Really good, actionable suggestions there. Now, let's shift gears a bit. Let's talk about tying things together more deeply.
Okay.
The piece does a strong job establishing this lifelong quest the author has. Understanding why systems hold up or fall apart. Mentioning Lucknow, the Gandhi Fellowship.
Absolutely. That backdrop of looking at systemic breakdowns, that's a really strong thread running through it.
So what we're looking at now is how to weave that thread even more tightly with the personal strategies that came later, with the Valorant and Obsidian stuff.
Yes, you're suggesting the personal solutions aren't just, happening alongside the systemic observations,
Right.
but are maybe a direct response, a kind of microcosm of the adaptability the author was searching for in those bigger systems.
Exactly that. Right now it feels a little like here are the observations about systemic fractures. And then almost separately, here's the personal collapse and the tools used to cope.
Okay.
There's this great opportunity, I think, to show more directly how that personal experience, building resilience with small fixes, actually became an answer, or at least a reflection, of those broader systemic questions.
Right, linking the micro and the macro more explicitly. That definitely amps up the so what factor, doesn't it? Makes the personal journey feel even more significant.
Totally. So how do we do that? How do we make that connection less implied and more, direct? showing how the Valorant Obsidian learning spoke to that bigger philosophical quest.
One way, after describing those systemic problems, maybe from Lucknow or the Fellowship, you could maybe pose a rhetorical question, one that directly points towards the solutions found later.
Like a bridge.
Exactly, like a bridge. For instance, faced with such ingrained systemic failures, the question evolved from why do systems collapse to how can even a single person build resilience against that collapse?
Okay.
And then, my answer came not from grand theories, but from a video game and a notebook. Boom. Direct line drawn.
Yeah, that really connects the dots. It sets up the expectation perfectly.
Or another approach, when you first introduce Obsidian and Valorant.
Yeah.
Explicitly state how their principles, the small fixes, the evolutionary systems, how they directly address that gap the author observed earlier. You know, the gap between what was promised and what was lived in education or in Lucknow.
Ah, okay, so make the link right there.
Right. You could say something like, the rigidity I saw in traditional systems, well, that was mirrored in my own perfectionism. Obsidian and Valorant became my personal labs to test if true resilience lay in constant small-scale adaptation, a stark contrast to the brittle, perfect systems I had observed failing.
Wow, that really elevates it. It frames the personal solution as a direct philosophical counterpoint.
Exactly. It turns the personal journey into this, practical application of that lifelong intellectual search.
Yeah, it grounds the individual experience in that wider context that's already been set up so well. Makes the whole thing feel incredibly coherent.
That's the goal, making it feel deeply integrated and purposeful.
Okay, fantastic. Moving to our final point. I definitely felt the struggle in the piece. The depression, the chaos described with Obsidian, initially being just a dumping ground.
Yes.
This last piece of feedback is about maybe digging into that initial struggle a bit more, adding emotional depth to really make the journey to clarity pop even more.
That's a really crucial point, I think. The piece clearly states the struggles, the depression, the collapsing structures. It's there.
Right.
But the description of that chaos, the actual weight of the depression, it could potentially be, well, more vivid, more sensory.
So the reader can almost feel it more?
Exactly. So they can feel the contrast more sharply when the clarity arrives. If we can paint a richer picture of the initial noise, the internal struggle, maybe using more sensory details, or even some internal monologue snippets,
then the transformation with Obsidian and Valorant will hit harder.
it'll resonate much more profoundly. Yeah.
So the idea is to really immerse the reader in that starting point, that feeling of chaos, so the clarity feels like a genuine, hard-won victory.
You got it. Infuse those descriptions of the pre-clarity state with more specific, evocative imagery. Internal reflections. Let the reader appreciate just how deep the challenge was.
Okay.
This really magnifies the sense of achievement, the relief that comes with the small fixes and the eventual clarity.
Can you give an example?
Instead of just saying, depression collapsed my structures. Sure. Instead of that, maybe something more like, depression didn't just collapse my structures, it felt like the mental floor gave way beneath me,
Ooh.
leaving me adrift in this swirling current of unfinished tasks and fragmented thoughts.
Yeah, okay, that's much more visceral. You can feel that sense of being lost.
Right? And for the Obsidian dumping ground, don't just say it was cluttered. Elaborate on the feeling.
How it felt to interact with it.
Yeah, like, my Obsidian vault wasn't just cluttered. It was a digital reflection of my overloaded mind, a labyrinth of half-formed ideas, forgotten links, and notes so disassociated they felt like static, actively resisting any attempted order.
Wow, actively resisting order. That paints such a picture of the mental state through the tool itself.
Exactly. And even with Valorant being an escape,
Yeah?
maybe dig into what it was an escape from, not just stating that it was an escape.
Ah, give the escape context.
Precisely. You could say, Valorant was an escape, yes, but more than that, it was like a desperate search for a void to fill, a temporary silencing of the internal critic that echoed every failed plan and unresolved anxiety outside the game.
That adds so much depth to just playing a game. It gives it real emotional weight.
My feeling is just that bringing that initial state more vividly to life, it gives the reader this powerful anchor, something to measure the incredible transformation against.
Yeah, it makes the clarity feel truly earned.
Hopefully. Yeah. The reader gets to really experience that journey from chaos to clarity right alongside the author.
This has been incredibly helpful. So just to recap the main points from today's critique.
Okay.
First, we talked about sharpening that opening hook, making it broader by really front-loading the unique angle, the Valorant and Obsidian connection right away. Get straight to that core insight.
Grab them immediately.
Second, we looked at deepening the integration, tying the systemic observations, that lifelong quest, more directly to the personal solutions found in the tools, creating a really clear through line.
Connecting the micro and the macro. Yeah.
And finally, enhancing the emotional resonance of that initial chaos, painting a more vivid picture of the struggle to make the eventual clarity even more impactful, more triumphant for the reader.
Make them feel the journey.
Exactly. We've offered some concrete examples and suggestions for all these areas, hoping they're actionable.
Yeah, definitely. Things to try out.
We really encourage you to take these insights, play with them, revise the piece, and absolutely send it back to us. We'd love to see how From Chaos to Clarity evolves.
Definitely. Excited to see the next version.